Here with Farragut head coach Eddie Courtney, legendary coach. What a interesting season for Farragut last year, making to the quarterfinals in Class 6A. Coach finished 6-7. I mean, obviously the regular season was not what the standards are for the program, but unbelievable run late in the year and into the postseason. What do you think was the reason for you guys playing your best ball at the end?
Well, I really believe, who we are and what we're about, and how we set our culture. Those are things people talk about, but I'll tell you what that means to us. We have 5 goals in our program. Number 1 is being accountable to each other. Number 2 is going out and doing the best you can each Friday night, playing for each other, playing hard. Number 3 is compete for our region championship. Number 4 is practice on Thanksgiving Day, which means you're one of the 4 still in your classification, still in the playoffs. And then number 5 is win the state championship. And we don't talk about those. We do open the season, which I did this past week. We talk about all the things that go into it, accountability to each other. And our team stayed true to that. Football, I tell them all the time, you're going to have adversity, you're going to have ups and downs. That's what this is all about. Football helps you go through life when you get those challenges, no matter what's going to be. But to answer your question, so as difficult as things got, we weren't comfortable where we're at. We knew but if you stay with each other, keep coming practicing hard, keep playing hard, other guys get better, push each other, then it will pay off. And you're right, it took us to week 10 to qualify for the playoffs. But the kids truly saw, hey, Coach, what you said, it's happened. That's a 4. We say that every year. I don't care if we're 10-0 or whatever, 7-3. But the playoffs now, everybody's 0-0. So they said, let's just go play ball. We're the ones that can relax through this, and we did. We went and played a very good Science Hill team that won the region and beat them there. Then we went on the road and it beat Bradley County, which beat us in the field goal regular season. And then we came back week 3 and played, I thought, a very good game against a great Maryland team as usual, and 7 points out of that one. But just seeing the kids buy into it, and I can see the carryover into the offseason in our December, January, and February workouts. And then now I thought we had a very good May spring practice. And then now we're getting back off the dead period. I can see these kids believing and understanding what it takes. And so now we put pads on here in a couple of weeks. Cookville rolls in, and so we'll see. That'll be the first time we really get challenged again.
7-on-7 is such a bigger part of preparation for high school football. Now, what do you think of that in terms of the value and how important and how popular it has become for a lot of high schools?
Well, the thing I do like about it is the fact that you're working a lot of football skills for your receivers and DBs and linebackers and running backs, quarterbacks. You can work. Now, we run our offense. We don't just sit in just a 7-on-7 because you can change just run a 7-on-7. We try to run our offense so we get some production. And just to work against other people's best will help you get better. The ones who lack there are your linemen because we got to find things for them to do. But anyway, from that standpoint, it's been good. I would like to see them take it and maybe put it in a block of time. In other words, a 6 or 7 week period of time. It's kind of got drawn out a longer period of time from the standpoint of you can make that a long season with 7-on-7. So I want to make sure we take care of kids and they're not burnt out by the time we put pads on, stuff like that. But it's been good. Several years ago, we played at Tennessee, came in second. Adidas had sponsored them. We got to go to Los Angeles. I was able to take 24 players to Los Angeles. We played in the national tournament out there. And then next year, we ended up going to Atlanta and playing down there. So that's when it was relatively coming on. That was when Coach Foreman there. That's when 7-on-7 really started. And then now you've got a lot of different people running their own 7-on-7 tournaments and all that. So it's really expanded now. It's all over the place.
Well, as part of those 7-on-7s is one of your quarterbacks in Luke Johnson. You have 2 pretty good quarterbacks. Talk about that room.
Well, they both helped each other. It really is. Luke moved in here last year from Orlando. We had experience with quarterback in Dawson Moore last year. So Luke came in and added some stuff. He's very competitive, and he helped. Competition makes you better. He helped Dawson get better last year as quarterback. They talked about the game more. Dawson had somebody now talk more player. So they helped each other. So when Dawson got hurt a couple times a year, Luke comes in and throws 4 touchdown passes in the game. So we knew he was capable of doing that because he's such an accurate passer, studies the game, watches the game, loves the game. And so that's kind of been the thing we wanted to coach. You want to have guys push each other. When you can do that, you will get better. And it's hard. It's hard to get somebody to really bear down to get better if they know it's theirs. It's just handed to them. So I really like competition. I try to make our practices competitive. I really do. Because I feel like if you're going to get better as a football player, you have to be pushed. And that's what we try to do.
How do you look on the offensive line?
Well, that's a concern, but it's not a concern about the young men we have there. We're just young. Sophomores and juniors only have one senior. But again, they've worked hard. They're not going to have to play both ways. And the reason I say that, I wouldn't mind to have a kid play both ways, but the 6A of the people we play, 6 people play no huddle. It's a tempo deal. We play some, and that's tough. And you're playing every snap out there, offense and defense. Somewhere you got to manage their time on getting on the field. So I feel like having 8 or 9 good young men, even though they're young, if you're just playing the offensive line, we can get through the first 4 or 5 games and getting better and getting experience. By mid-season, they ought to have been able to see about everything they've seen on the game Friday night and get better. That's just playing and getting out there and getting better.
Hopping over to the defense, I know another kid that you have with you is Jay Smiley. Means a lot to you and that defense. Talk about him at linebacker for you.
Well, we're blessed to have 4 or 5 really good linebackers this year, inside and outside. But Jay's here represents because he is a tough football player. I mean, he really is. He's there at practice every day. There's times on Mondays and Tuesdays where he's banged up like everybody else. But he's not looking for a way to get out of practice. He's out there, works hard extremely in the weight room. Might be a little bit undersized compared to some of the linebackers, but as far as strength and attitude and just an aggressive, hard-nosed football player, he does it. And I like that attitude. It kind of carries over the rest of the defense. That kind of carries weight when you see a guy that plays that hard and that aggressive and plays with such passion. That will carry over to your whole unit. The defense, you got to have it. It's all about the mentality and about the toughness and about staying together and believing each other and just going out there and playing. It's a little different offense. So from that standpoint, Jay will be a really good leader for us.
What about recruiting for any of your kids? How is that going? I know that's active.
It's really starting to pop right now. I don't know, Vince. I should say anything on the air, but with the portal and with the NIL and stuff, it's all affecting high school sports. But to answer your question, Reese Keeney, our punter and kicker, has got an offer now from Rice, which happened about 2 weeks ago. Wake Forest is a little involved there. We have 4 or 5 other kids this summer have been in a lot of camps. Now getting all the attention like that. My concern is with the portal, we still have guys out there, college players, and know where to go back to. So now it's affecting the high school kids. I know they're trying to make a few adjustments going into this fall. I hope to see more high school kids get a chance to earn those scholarships and get on a roster, if you know what I'm saying. So it's kind of a little bit slower than normal. Normally you'd have a lot more offers by this time of year in a typical high school season. I was glad to see the Bishop kid, Carnes. He's a football player, And I like J.B. Chadwell at Coastal Carolina. I like what they do at Coastal Carolina. I think that's a perfect match. Now, as this season goes on, there might be some other things. I like seeing local kids like that get a chance to play, especially if I go back to the portal and things like that, where there's a lot less opportunity.
So you think just from a number standpoint on the college level, they're getting squeezed out?
It definitely is. Last year we had 3 young men that signed last year. Farragut typically have anywhere from 6 to 9. And not all of them are D1 players, but they got chances to get on rosters and scholarship. And so that's been a big thing. Any high school coach talk to, it is a little different.
And what about name, image, and likeness, and what impact that's having on high school kids?
Well, I think I'm old school. Listen, I'm old school, and for kids who maybe not had a lot, let's just say they've grown up in very difficult, hard situations. I can understand that. And trying to be able to help take care of themselves and take care of their families. I understand all that. But I worry about, again, you're talking to a high school coach, and we try to manage our locker room at all times, away from distractions, away from everything else. I just don't know how you manage that anymore. You got guys making an extreme amount of more money than even some of the assistants are making in college. How you relate that, and how kids who've been on a roster somewhere, take an offensive lineman that's been in college, he's been through a knee surgery and hand repair and then he gets somebody walks in the locker room, hadn't played it down for the university, and he's making all this money. Hopefully those guys will share that money back with those guys, and maybe that'll be a little reward to you. But I'm still old school, man. The education should be there from the standpoint you want the future and getting a degree. And I don't mind getting compensated. My opinion, if you're going to do that, do it for all the kids. Just take it, make it limit the school, and you divvy it up with all the athletes, and they all get that same share. All right, I would be for that.
Yeah.
Back when I played small college ball. Everybody signed for a certain amount of money. What's funny about Vince, if you end up making the travel team, you got a few more dollars.
Yeah.
And then if you got to be a backup, a few more dollars.
Right.
And then by the time, if you're hopefully starting, then you're getting close to 90% of scholarship. If somebody quit, you'd be running your position coach. Hey, can I get some of his money? He's not here anymore. So that's kind of the way it was. But you found back then really who loved the game. I really did, because you played it because you wanted to play and you loved it so much.
Last thing, obviously, always challenging schedule. How does that lay out for you again this year?
I love it. I mean, really do. I mean, I want to coach against the best.
Yeah.
I want our players to compete against the best, and I think it helps you get better every week. Again, we open up the beach, a tremendous program out of Nashville. We want to get their respect in that area of the state. I've always done that. I've always tried to play, like Riverdale and somebody down Memphis. If we're not regular schedule with BB or Sites Hill, we're trying to play something. But I think it helps you. I really do, because I think when you go through that 10-game ride, you're used to getting on travel buses sometimes. You're used to going it matters, everybody we play. Oak Ridge, everybody else we play. You go there on Friday night, or they come to your place, they bring a crowd. It matters. Football matters to these communities, all these teams we play. You go to Maryland, everybody, and on and on and on. Here we go. And so that makes you get pumped up about coaching and playing. And then you get through that 10-game ride, and hopefully you've got experience and confidence because you've played these. It's not a shock the first round of playoffs, second round of playoffs. You've already played those kind of teams. So if you're healthy and you've gotten better and you're as a team, you can make. I told our team the other day, what I love about this game, we start out, it's hot. It's the hottest part of the year. When we get through, it's some of the coldest. So we go from one extreme to the other, and that's what high school football is, and that's what it's about. It's ups and downs. Days are going to be great. Days are not going to be terrible. But you try to work through that and know where your strength comes from and who you can count on.
Yeah. Point well made. If we can only get a few of those in-between weeks during the season, that would be great.
Well, we got our open date this year come week 8. I do like that. I'd like to have 5, 6, 7, 8 somewhere. I don't want it early again. We're forced to do that one year.
Right.
Don't want it much later. Yeah. I feel like that kind of gets you breaking up in half, because if your goals and what you're about is playing 15 games, count the playoffs, you'd like to have that week 7 or 8 somewhere that gives you a mid-season there. Yeah.
Coach, always a joy to talk to you. Best of luck, and I'm sure we'll see you this season.
Thank you, Vince. Hope to see you around too.
Yes, sir. That is Eddie Courtney, legendary Farragut head coach.